The royal family has not seen a crisis and a scandal this huge, anything of this magnitude for the last since 400 plus years when Parliament arrested, went to the palace, arrested, charged, and beheaded King Charles I. Isn't it ironic? It's kind of ironic that this scandal is happening and King Charles III watch. And the last time something like this happened was King Charles I. King Charles I was king. I think he became king in 1625, around about them time there. And then he was a arrogant, cocky little man that believed that he is the monarch and he is God. He's God's appointed, anointed one, and Parliament should try and should stop try to manangle him and tell him what to do. He wanted the full autonomy to do anything he wanted to do, and Parliament trying to rein him in, and he would not take no chat from Parliament. So him do all kind of thing, and then the parliamentarians just marched down to the palace, arrest him, tried him, lock him up, and then behead him. Right at the banquet hall down the Whitehall in London there. They beheaded him in 1647. And that was the last time the British family, members of any member of the British family faced a crisis of this nature. And now, some 400 plus years later, we have Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor. People have been asking me about the Mountbatten Windsor thing. So I thought I'd just explain to you very quickly that Mountbatten is the name that Prince Philip took when he was a young boy. You know, life was topsy-turvy. He come from Greek. Prince Philip is from Greek royalty. The whole royal line of Greece, the whole topsy-turvy. Mother was Princess Alice. She was the heir to the Greek throne, and all kind of wars and things split up the family, and everything went haywire. And Philip, as a boy, was sent away to boarding school. I think it was his granduncle or his uncle Mountbatten, Lord Mountbatten, who gave him his name. Gave him his name because he was a Norwegian, and so Philip took the name Philip Mountbatten. Now, the royal family took the name Windsor because after when King George V became king, the royal bloodline is from Germany. All right, it's a Saxe-Coburg German, like Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, and that to run a British Empire, that German name was not going to suffice, and they knew it immediately. That once King George became king, they had to change it because things were changing, and World War One had just finished, and everybody was in a tixy about nationhood and about culture, and there was a big quarrel about them kind of name. So the name thing wasn't going to work. The Saxe-Coburg and Gotha thing wasn't going to work at all. So King George V and his advisors came up with a good strong British name, Windsor, and it was very befitting because there was the House of Windsor, and there was the Windsor estate that Queen Victoria used to love so much, and all of it. So there, I think it was 1917, somewhere there in the summer or early spring, that George decreed, and the name was changed, and from that very intense German name, and one of that, and there was anti-German sentiment from coming from the First World War. That anti-German sentiment was very high, and that name was not going to survive in British culture. So yeah, that was it. The name was, of course, inspired by Windsor Castle, as I said, and it was a strategic and patriotic move, according to most people, to distance the monarchy from its German roots. And lucky thing they did, because when the Second World War came about, the monarchy could not have survived that. So George declared it, and that was that. And then after that, Queen Elizabeth might have been um, that might have been about in the early 1960s that she herself proclaimed it that all her descendants shall be named Windsor. And when she married Philip, um, Philip started quarrel and say he's the only man in England that him children them don't have his name because it named Mountbatten. But Churchill was the one who advised Queen Elizabeth at the time not to put the Mountbatten on her children's name because there were still some anti foreign sentiments among the British public. Them have a thing against foreigners and foreign name, specifically foreign monarchies. And so Churchill wisely felt that it wasn't wise, to to name them then. So after that, in 1960, them add the Mountbatten to the them name, and so everybody in the royal family actually named Mountbatten Windsor. Everybody, whatever their first name is, everybody named Mountbatten Windsor. All the direct descendants of Queen Elizabeth, Mountbatten Windsor. So William's children, Harry's children, the whole of them, everybody named Mountbatten Windsor. So that's how Andrew has his name, Mountbatten Windsor. So that's his name. Now we'd like to look at um, what has transpired. And as I said, I want to give you the facts and include some of my own thoughts in it. So let's be clear. Andrew is not charged yet with any crime, and I said not charged yet, and I'm using that very loosely. If he's ever charged, and I probably try to explain that a little bit to you. But when they arrested him, he was questioned for 11 hours. That suggests to me, a 11-hour questioning would suggest to me that they are looking for any contradictions, that he might have the kind of questioning that our own DPP should have engaging with that murderer, Silvera. It's the same kind of question that she should have engaged with him about, to look for any kind of contradiction. So them ask him one thing a hour ago, and 2 hours after them ask him back in a different way and looking for contradictions. That's what 11-hour interrogation would be like. 11-hour questioning is not 1, 2, 3, next question or next question. It's basically 5 questions for 11 hours. 5 questions at best for 11 hours. How did you know Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, when did you meet him? At the same questions, and then you go off in a whole thing, and then 2 hours you ask, so when did you meet Jeffrey Epstein? And then how half you ask, so when was the first time you and Jeffrey Epstein started? When did you go down to his island? Things like that. So it's basically at best 6 questions. I'm gonna put that 6. At best 6 questions that they re-asked in different ways for 11 hours to trip him up, to see if him lying or anything like that. The king says the law must take its course, and he wants that to happen. I'm just laying out some facts for you about all that. The police, that went to the estate, and he was hanging out down by Prince Philip's retirement estate. Well, it was Prince Philip's place, and father said them threw him out of Royal Lodge because from this whole thing started with Virginia Giuffre. The king, everybody wanted him out, the whole thing, and him PR off, and them just wanted him out. But so him hanging out down by the estate, and the police went down there and they arrested him and handcuffed him and put him in a car. While one set of police was arresting him at that estate in the country, another set of police was also over in Royal Lodge where he used to live, searching down the place, looking for things, whatever it is that them was looking for. And so that was happening at Royal Lodge at the same time. Now, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was a trade and commerce ambassador for the United Kingdom from 2001. It was a job that was created for him by Queen Elizabeth, his mother. He is her favorite child. Um, he was when she was alive her favorite child, just as Princess Anne was Prince Philip's favorite child. So Charles and Edward was nobody's favorite child, but such was it. And so he got that job. Didn't get paid for it, although it was a job that there was supposed to be some kind of remuneration, but um, nothing came of it. So the police did not tell the palace. The palace was not aware. It was total surprise to them. Everybody's reporting that, so there's no reason to doubt it, since even the anti-royalists them that have YouTube channel are working for some for TV for liberal TV channels. Even them saying that um, the king didn't know about it. We don't know. Nobody knows what the questions were and what Andrew said to the police. But there's also possibility that other members of the royal family could be involved in this. Not to say that they could be involved in being arrested, but be involved in terms of witnesses. Because in the 3.5 million pages of documents from this international pedophile ring by the Christian white patriarchy of this world, mention was made of his two daughters, Eugenie and the next one name, and both of them names were mentioned in those documents, as well as his wife Sarah Ferguson. So there, there's also reports that in some of the pictures that come out of those 3.5 million pages, I think, including pictures and videos and whatever, some of those pictures are pictures of um, um, Eugenie and Beatrice, because Andrew, being Randy Andy, did send pictures of his 12-year-old children to a pedophile. So there's chances that both Beatrice and Eugenie can get caught up in this in terms of being witnesses, should he be charged. Let's be clear, he's not charged as yet. We don't know if he um, you know, will be charged. But this is what, um, where is it? Where it's at? No. Misconduct in public office is a charge. And that is largely like many British laws are left to open to interpretation. And this is one of them. Misconduct in public office. And it carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment should the person be found guilty. In looking at the history of this particular charge, and asking Rebecca English, who is one of the royal correspondents, and they both that have these YouTube channels, and them work with Talk TV and all of that, Rupert Murdoch TV station like Fox News. And I am told that with a 10-year period between 2014 and 2024, about 191 persons in the UK was charged with this very crime. None of them get no life imprisonment. All of them serve basically below 10 years, if so much. And but it still does carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. It appears to me that they are looking into whether Andrew shared information from that role as trade and commerce ambassador with Jeffrey Epstein, and particularly if he shared information relating to investment opportunities in Afghanistan and Southeast Asia. Now, my analysis and my take on it is that if they are specifically looking to particular places, there might be some evidence of something that Jeffrey Epstein might have done in relation to that information that he received, which would have been, it is treason, which would have been, highly classified information. And so them looking into that in particular. Andrew was trade and commerce ambassador from 2001 to I think 2011. He met Jeffrey Epstein, or is him start hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein in 2008, and that's a strange time, because also in 2008 Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child molestation or having sex with a minor, something to do with that. I think the word minor is in the charge. So it might very well have been abuse of a minor. And he was convicted in Florida. And he was sent to prison for it. I don't remember how much time was the prison time. But the strange thing about all of that is that there was a young journalist down in Florida who was investigating Jeffrey Epstein long before the world knew of Jeffrey Epstein. She was investigating him when she said in her first, when it first came to light, when he was arrested, she said in an interview with Rachel Maddow that he was she started the investigation because she just accidentally buck up on somebody talking about something about his island, and she began digging and found things out. One of the things she found out is that when he was sentenced to prison for this minor thing, the minor that he abused, he was let out of prison at least 3 days a week to go conduct in business. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. He was let out of prison 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week, to go conduct his business and then go back in. Like a man, I leave him here at a man time, go work and go out and come back in. And that was basically the slack system that was protecting this pedophile in this great, large international sex ring. Now, I don't know what happened, but I can surmise that I don't know if they'll find the evidence that they need. Because to charge him is going to be difficult to prove if they do not have irrefutable and clear evidence that Andrew knowingly abused and orchestrated benefits for himself, that it was a quid pro quo, that there was misconduct in discharging those duties or those responsibilities that he had when he was the trade ambassador. So that's going to be difficult to prove, because Epstein International Pedophile Organization was designed to traffic young children to powerful men and have that on them to get what he wanted. But it wasn't a quid pro quo. It wasn't it wasn't what do you call it, him blackmailing them. Blackmail is a word. He wasn't blackmailing them. It was never that. If it was that, it would not have been so wide. It would not have included so many big name people. It was a matter, I think, where Epstein just have them island and him know say sex is the weakness of every man on this planet. Sex is the weakness of pretty much every human being, quite frankly, and sex has been the thing that has brought down many empires and monarchies and businesses. So him know that, and he wasn't that exactly a bright man, but he was quite smart, quite frankly. Him himself was, by accident, just by accident, he met Ghislaine Maxwell. That was not even an orchestrated meetup. So that makes me believe that she was the mastermind behind all of this. He has these proclivities, he has these needs and these pensions, and she is the aristocrat from England who moves within all the aristocratic family circles in Britain and Europe. Yes, she comes from a long bloodline of Maxwells who have been very insulated into monarchies and British high society. So she really come from a small fry family, and she used that aristocratic training and upbringing to help him. For of course, and him pay a lot of money to do that. But she must have been she must have been sick from she born, because she's a sick girl, sick woman. She must have been sick from she born. It must be all of that aristocracy that got her. But in any case, she started to help him to groom potential clients. So she helped him build a clientele, and she was the one who introduced him to Andrew. There are reports by one or two people, some of the British YouTubers who said that she tried to get him an introduction to Edward, but Edward is a straight-laced guy, married Sophie, and him now going away, now left Sophie. I hate that. But they target Andrew because Andrew is a wild card in the royal family, and them call him Randy Andy, and the rest of it. So there. So she was the one who was moving around those circles and getting him. Coming from the Maxwell name, it was easy for her to to move into circles with all Bill Clinton and all them people there. And Epstein was a mastermind. Him used that opportunity because the man them like to deal with men. She would stay in the background and make him go forward and him that. Once she oil it for him gone, him that. This is a wide international thing that included practically every modern democracy on the face of this earth. The people who we trust with our safety in this world. I mean, places like Belgium, Norway, Sweden, Australians, I mean, Africans. I mean, this thing so wide, it's not funny. Of horny, dead dick men who looking for new thrills with underage children. And that is what he provided for them. It wasn't him saying, I'm going to give you a 12-year-old because I know you like 12-year-old. It's him finding their weaknesses and exploiting their weaknesses. And after him do that, them sit down and them drink and them talk. So them get every information him want. Them just tell him. Them just include him. Them just give him stuff. Because them get underage bums. And that is basically what it is. So it wasn't an organized or orchestrated thing where Epstein was blackmailing anybody. So Andrew was not blackmailed. Nobody was being blackmailed. It was just people's penchant for this kind of nastiness that drew them in. And so that was it. So I don't think that them will be able to establish that Andrew did this in for exchange of something. And I think that's what they were looking for when them searching Royal Lodge and all the other places them. Um, but Epstein organization, as a member of the royal family, um, Andrew was a big catch for him, and Andrew even carried him go where was I think he went to Windsor one day. I think there's a picture of him in the old trough of pictures that there's a picture of him and Andrew somewhere on royal property, walking up and down having a chat. Yeah, but the whole thing is the variations of the same theme. So there, him there and him here everywhere. Andrew, even though this charge of misconduct is a serious charge, as I was saying before, they have to prove it. And I think it's going to be difficult to prove it. And I think that is why they sat down with him for 11 hours to trip him up, just to determine if he knew what he was doing, if it was orchestrated, if it was a willing thing that he did. So them can always show him something and say, did you know that Epstein invested in this thing in Afghanistan, about that? Do you remember that you were doing some job, some work for the British government and that? And all you have to answer is yes. Did you tell him about it? Yes, we might have spoken about it. So, but did you have any arrangement about it? That might not have been the case. So that might not have been so. So there is that. That is what I'm looking into Andrew for, and I don't know if they will really find it. But here we are. If Andrew should go into that, have gone into that question, or if him get charged, should say something like, boy, I discussed it with this member of the family, or I did discuss that with that member of the family. Let's say him discuss something with the king. The king cannot be charged for any crime. The king is the only member of the royal family that has immunity from being charged of anything, because the courts operate in the name of the king. It's his courts. The prosecutors operate in the name of the king. His prosecutors. And it's his court. Him can't go in there, go defend himself in his court. that just makes sense. So is the first King Charles never had that. So that must have been a later thing that they instituted when they were gradually each turn of the century, or each turn they modernized the monarchy and improve some things in it. So when Charles I wanted total immunity and and him can do anything he wants and nobody can lock him up. That wasn't the case for him. Them did arrest him, them lock him up for about 2 hours, then them carry him out to the banquet hall by Whitehall and chop off him neck. And that was the end of him. So that not what happened to King Charles. King Charles will not be charged for anything, even if Andrew said that him did discuss something with him. There was a time in the whole thing when Charles was trying to get him out of Royal Lodge. And there was a point when they were trying to make some arrangement for him to be paid back the money, Andrew to be paid back the money that he used to fix up Royal Lodge. And then it appears at 1 minute, and this is not me pointing this out. This was Don Wooten and Neil and Neil, I don't remember Neil Sean, another YouTuber, royalist, that does royal news. It was Neil Sean and Don Wooten that was saying that when Charles was about to refund him the money, and then all of a sudden Charles make a right about turn and say him not getting a cent if he come out and go on about in business. Something to that effect. And people were wondering what made Charles change his mind. And some are now speculating, since this happened, that it could have been that something from this, Charles might have gotten wind of something from this back then and decided that Andrew's a dog and if he come out in royal life. And then Charles did another thing. They they, they don't want him in a family gathering, no church going, no family eating unless it's private eating. He was not invited to Sandringham in Christmas. And even though it's a royal family and them having a family thing in Sandringham, everybody that is a descendant of Queen Elizabeth II is at Sandringham for Christmas every year. But it is still by invitation. It is the king who has to extend that invitation for you to come for Christmas. He didn't get one. So it might be, according to some are speculating today or yesterday, that Charles might have gotten wind, not know, but gotten wind of some things and started to speed up the process to get him out of his life. So that might be the case. Here in Jamaica, it appears to me that not some of our politicians not taking this as a serious matter. This is an international pedophile ring run by a man who had access to presidents, prime ministers, royalties, ambassadors, people in finance, people in arts, people in entertainment. He had access to pretty much every genre of people in the modern democracies across the world. There is speculation he could also have been an agent from Russia, which to me don't really make no sense, but the Russians them do things differently. It might be true, it might not be true. The fact that when they arrested him and raided his house, they found $600 million in a safe. Don't make no sense to me either to say that he was a Russian spy. Probably was. I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying what makes sense to me, you know, about that is it. Trump, who knew Epstein from the beginning, because Trump is a Florida man. So when Epstein was arrested in Florida, according to this reporter, I don't remember her name. I should have go check that before I did this, but I don't remember her name. Who said that Epstein was a frequent person at Mar-a-Lago. Matter of fact, he was a member of the Mar-a-Lago club, and he frequented there. And it is from there, so she learned that Trump made regular visits to Epstein Island. She recorded at the time about 5. It is thought now, based on the 3.5 million pages of pictures and documents and email thread, that Trump might have been to Epstein's pedophile island a minimum of 8 times to a maximum of 11 times, you know. And she also was the one, in 2016. She was in collaboration with Philip Bump from the New York Times. Philip Bump worked for Washington Post, I think, not New York Times. And what they were saying when they're trying to dig up dirt on Trump in 2016, that Trump used to run the Miss Teen, the Miss Teen Universe pageant, something to that effect. Miss Teen Universe pageant, yeah, of which even Ivanka was participated in once or twice. And she was the one with Philip Bump who revealed that Trump himself used to just walk into the dressing room with the 13-year-old them, the 14-year-old them half naked or naked and getting dressed, hugging them up. There were pictures, there were one or two pictures that were shown with him hugging up teenagers when them getting dressed in them dressing room because him used to run the competition. So this is an organization of nasty, dirty men all over the world that hold the keys to the world finances and hold the keys to the success of small nations like Jamaica and all the keys to our security as as a world, the world security. These are the people. I'm so disappointed in Denmark and Belgium and all them places. Ooh, I have always thought to be that them have a little bit more sense than the regular people. But no, not at all. Dirty man a dirty man. And all of them are dirty man seeking to have some kind of thrill from underage children. Children getting thrill from that. Because them outlive them dead cock and it can't work. Says only a 12-year-old or 13-year-old can get it up for them. Jesus have mercy. And this this God of mercy upon carries the seal across. I'm having problems eating because of this thing. Truly. I mean, I'm fretting for the king. I'm worried for William and Catherine and their three young children. Because this is not just about the monarchy as an institution or the monarchy as an institution that reign over the land of United Kingdom. It's a United Kingdom. There is Great Britain, there is Northern Ireland, there is Wales. I mean, this is a huge thing. And it is not just about that. It is also about a family. People look at them and say, yeah, read them and this and them and that. But they're also family. It's a family. This is a family in crisis. This is not just a monarchy in crisis, an institution that governs a country. And an institution that governs many countries. I think there are still 11 countries that King Charles is the king of. Is still the head of state. And this is a family. So I can't even imagine what is happening around the dinner table and the conversations between Charles and William and Harry him run with film look up cheap whore. And so it's Charles and William, basically. Catherine. I mean, I think the one where they sleep her way to Charles' life, I don't think she have much to do with it. But she's a king. She's a king's wife. She's a queen. I diss her up. She's a queen. I don't like her because, but she's a queen. I have respect for her. But I can't even begin to imagine what I'm going through as a family. Just as a family. What is happening with Beatrice and Eugenie? Andrew's two girls who their pictures as 12-year-old, 13-year-old in this 3.5 million pages of document. These are people, they might not be like us because them rich and them fabulous and them Ray and them Tay. We fabulous too. But it's family. It's also a family. And my heart breaks at 1,000 pieces about it all. That this one little fool caused all of this. I'm just hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they will establish that he was just a useful idiot to a pedophile and him was having a grand time having sex with underage children. Virginia Giuffre, The woman that says that she had sex with Andrew and he paid her off. The Queen gave him the money to pay her off. I felt it for the Queen that time, that she had no other choice but to give him the money. He's her son. She's Queen Elizabeth. She's untouchable. But she was also a mother, trying to not only help her son but salvage the embarrassment to the monarchy that she headed at the time. It's a family. But Virginia Giuffre wrote in her memoirs before she died, and something that has been haunting me from this thing coming out, that when Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her and groomed her, they sent her out to recruit and groom others. She used to be stationed out at high schools, and she was instructed to target vulnerable girls, mostly underprivileged, vulnerable um, girls who live in broken homes, or some of them live in deplorable conditions, and some of them take drugs, or some of them have dreams and aspirations that are not going to be fulfilled. Some of them want to be actors and actresses, and those who want to be singers and artists, and all the way of them. She was instructed to target those. And she said in her memoir that she befriended a girl her age, and she liked the girl, and the girl liked her, and she told the girl she was going to protect her. And Ghislaine Maxwell told her that that particular girl was not going to do sex. She was going to do a massage and rub his feet and all kind of foolishness she was telling her. It turned out to be a lie, because Andrew had sex with that girl. And Virginia Giuffre Giuffre said that she asked Jeffrey Epstein, she said to him, why did you let the prince have sex with my friend? And Jeffrey Epstein responded to her and said, it's good to have things on people. By then she was having conversation with them, because she became one of them, because them groom her and then send her out to groom others. So she's now a part of the whole thing. And then she was the one who mashed up everything when she came out and talked about it and pointed out Andrew in all of this. And I'm telling you, that really, really rocked me, because in her memoir she not want to talk about that one girl. The girl was traumatized. She said she don't believe that even if every single one of those girls, the ones from Belgium, the ones from Norway, the ones from all the Nordic countries that involved in this thing, that they trafficked and groomed, she said even if all of the girls come out, she know this girl not going to come out. This one not going to come out. There was this one girl who went to the Oscars. She went to one of them award show, and she called out the whole of Hollywood about it. She said the whole of them didn't know about Harvey Weinstein. The whole of them, all of them. It was a very quiet and uncomfortable room when she talked about it. And I'm saying that this one girl is so traumatized that Virginia Giuffre said she don't believe she will ever come out and talk about that. Can you imagine that? Yeah. An international, well-organized, well-oiled international network of trafficking young girls for the people that lead the world. The people that lead the world. And they got away with it. They all got away with it. No matter who have to resign from what position, or a whole list of them resigning from them various high-profile positions that them get high-profile money for. But that doesn't do anything. They will not pay for it. There's no price to pay. Nobody pay a price except Ghislaine Maxwell. She should pay the ultimate for true, but none of them will pay a price. In the meantime, right down here in our little part of the world, we have government ministers seeing this furor going on all over the world, seeing the chaos and confusion and the hurt that is being caused by this international thing. I have government ministers hanging out with checks, big checks, with a man who's accused by a female counselor of predatory sexual abuse. Predatory sexual abuse. Abuser through texts and words and abuse. And then afterwards, threatened to sue her. And government ministers, in a very insensitive way. Don't remember which one the minister was. I see the picture. I may just move past it because I get so angry about it. But I mean, you see what going on with this Jeffrey Epstein thing and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and you are posed up with a man who has been accused by a woman of being a predatory sexual abuser, Dwayne Vaz. And I'm sending out a warning to our government ministers. I don't want to listen to me because I'm not going to repeat myself, you know. Me a whole heap of going hot water for a whole heap of things. But this, anyone I know taking any picture with Dwayne Vaz and Dayton Campbell, we're going to be in uproar, you and me. And I'm going to recruit other people to be in uproar with me about it. Just look at this. Look at this. Dayton Campbell has been accused of being a pedophile. And he was protected left, right, and center. Mark Golden said, is him simpatico? Is him right and in the juggling? Him not take a chat from the body because there's no evidence to prove it. And them high profile lawyers them protected him and the court protected him. Viola said that racism is in the DNA of America. She said that pedophilia is in the DNA of the men who run America. Yeah. Ministers of government hanging out with man that has been accused of being a predatory sexual abuser. And I had a big check with him and a grin. On the lick on the head or something? That's a very insensitive thing. Very, very insensitive. It's like we're not taking stock of what's happening around the world. Like we don't have nothing to do with and nothing to do with we down here. It has everything to do with us down here. Every damn thing. There might not be a Jamaican child in it. Thank Jesus in heaven that there isn't. But we're giving credibility and coverage to men who has these proclivities when they should sideline them and deny them the spotlight. We not hug them up like when I idiot. Me I not have words. I'm telling you that. Me I not have whole heap of words. I want to not like it. I want to not going to like it. I'm not going to hold back. I never going to think about what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say it as it comes to my mind. That's all I'm saying. This video is already too long. Please like the video. Please share it. Send me a pithy comment. Ask a question. See if I can answer it if I can. But thank you very much for listening to my rant. And this was a major rant. I can sense it. without you telling me. Thank you so very much. Please keep yourself safe and keep the children safe. God bless you.